Iron Gwazi is a 206-foot-tall hybrid coaster located at Busch Gardens Tampa in Tampa Bay, Florida. Does this ride stack up to, or even surpass its cousin at Cedar Point? Find out in this review. Our journey starts with the two-tracked Gwazi roller coaster. The ride, or should I say rides, were originally manufactured by Great Coasters International, or GCI for short. The two sides of the roller coaster were named Lion and Tiger and boasted 105 feet tall and had a length of 3,500 feet. In 2011, a new manufacturer named Rocky Mountain Construction, or RMC, burst onto the scene. They modified older wooden roller coasters by making them taller, steeper, as well as adding elements and even inversions to the layout. This was done using their patented I-box design of track that offers a smooth, intense, and enjoyable experience for riders. Iron Gwazi was originally slated to open in March of 2020. However, we all know what happened that month. The pandemic did not stop chains like Cedar Fair from opening their new rides for that year. SeaWorld, the parent company of the Busch Gardens parks, however, decided to open their new rides and attractions in 2021. Or, that's what should have happened. Iron Gwazi opened to the public on May 11th, 2022, a full 2 years after the planned opening date. Starting off the main part of my review, we have the theming and everything quote-unquote before you actually hop on the ride. Iron Gwazi is themed to a crocodile. However, it's not heavily themed. I really like how the whole area around the ride looks. The area has a nice feel to it, and it ties you into the ride well. It really gets you hyped to get on and experience the attraction. There are several carnival games sporting the name Iron Gwazi or some variation of that name, as well as your typical gift shops and food stands. There's not much in-queue theming, but there is a nice-looking straw roof on parts of the queue. The station has a nice green and purple color scheme that matches the ride's train and logo. The trains. These trains are your typical second-generation RMC swing axle trains, just like the ones on steel engines. The lap bars are okay, but not nearly as good as the intimate, over-the-shoulder lap bars found on a ride like Velocicoaster at Universal's Islands of Adventure. The shin guards don't mind me that much, but they do make the drop slightly worse in my opinion. I heard that taller riders can find these uncomfortable. As for how these trains look, they're some of the best out there. SeaWorld tends to do a great job with their lead cars, and this is no exception. The crocodile head at the front looks incredible, and the rest of the train is not that bad either. The black lap bar and the dark green-blue seats really mesh well together. Here's Iron Gwazi's ride experience. Iron Gwazi starts with a left turn out of the station. While you do this, a nice, deep sound effect plays. Then comes straight track and a fun dip below the part of the queue right before the huge station building. Then you go up the very steep and loud lift hill. This lift is almost identical to the one on steel engines. While you go up, you get pretty good views of the surrounding area. As you approach the crest of the lift hill, the lift slows, giving more awesome views of the other rides at Busch Gardens, as well as the elements you will traverse in just a few moments. In my opinion, this ride's drop is slightly worse than the drop on steel engines. The slowdown at the drop makes the drop feel a little bit slower in my opinion. The drop is still easily one of the best I've ridden, just not as good as steel engines' drop. You then rise into a very snappy, out-of-ranked hill. This is one of the only elements shared between the two rides that I prefer on Iron Gwazi. The whip going in and out of the element is very good, and the airtime you experience is incredible. Steel Edge's Outer Bank offers more sustained airtime, but does not offer the great whip of Iron Gwazi's Outer Bank. Iron Gwazi then drops to the left and rises up into easily one of the most hyped elements of the ride. The death roll was named after the predatory move done by a crocodile. I don't know if this was named by the park or a nickname it was given. Either way, the element was said to be one of the best elements on Iron Gwazi. While the element was good, it felt very overrated for me. It was not as good as the down drop on Steel Vengeance because Steel Vengeance offers a whippy change of direction halfway down the drop that is not found on the death roll. Then Iron Gwazi heads into an overbank turn. This element offers a little bit of whip in the transition in and out of the element, but other than that, pretty much nothing. You then head into my favorite part of the ride, the reverse wave turn. This element gives wild sideways airtime. This element also has some nice whip when you first bank 90 degrees. Then, you pop up into an element similar to the first up on the double up into Steel Vengeance misses mid-course. Both of these elements on Steel Vengeance and Iron Gwazi give good airtime. Iron Gwazi then goes into a wave turn. This element has a lot less power than the reverse wave turn just a few elements before it. It is a nice contrast to the other element, which is nice. You then head into a 0G stall. This stall really didn't give me any hang time. Velocicoaster features a better stall just an hour and a half away at Universal's Islands of Adventure. You should expect a separate review for that soon. Then, you go into an off-axis airtime hill. On Steel Vengeance, this element follows the double up after the mid-course. Once again, this element features similar power to the version on Steel Vengeance. The next element is what I believe to be a trick track. I really don't know what to call this element, but I know it was pretty good. It gave airtime, but it was way overshadowed by the next and final element of Iron Gwazi. You turn to the right and go up into what I expected should be just another airtime hill. And boy was I wrong. I had not watched any review videos until riding, so I was not expecting possibly the strongest ejector airtime of the entire ride. Then you head into the real finale of Iron Gwazi. The brake run. Seriously, it takes a solid 30 seconds or more for the train to advance into the station. The second part of the brake run is covered by more of that nice looking straw roof though, so it's not that bad. It also has a nod to the two sides of its predecessor with two plaques, one with a lion head and one with a tiger head. This ends your 4,075 foot long journey on Iron Gwazi. Final ranking. Iron Gwazi is easily one of the best roller coasters I've been on. I've only ridden 34 different roller coasters, so I'm a very new enthusiast. I think if this ride had not been hyped up as the best roller coaster in the world, it would be better for me. Steel Vengeance is the better hyper hybrid. However, this doesn't make Iron Gwazi bad in the slightest. It is currently my favorite roller coaster in the state of Florida and my number 2 overall. If I had to rate this roller coaster out of 10, it would be a 9.75. Still really good, just not as good as Steel Vengeance. What do you think of Iron Gwazi? Tell me in the comments below. And hey, if this video does well, expect a lot more roller coaster reviews in the future, especially as I ride more roller coasters.